Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another vid. Well, I'm gonna do a couple uploads on this one. I think it's worth doing rather than a live hangout. My next live stream will probably be on the weekend of the Wilder and Ortiz fight, or I'll probably do another one leading up to it. So that's yet to be seen at the moment. But anyhow, I wanted to go over a couple things on the about the Superfly because they definitely the Superfly, the little men definitely deserve a lot of attention based off the recent competition we're getting to see down there at the Super Flyweight division. Just go over a couple of things about the Rungvisai versus Estrada fight that happened on HBO the other night. The numbers came in as far as viewership is concerned, and it peaked at 753,000 views with an average of 639,000 views. Now that is lower than the numbers that it drew from the first Superfly event. Obviously, that's because the biggest draw on that event was the headliner was Roman Gonzalez, obviously, and then you have the monster Naoya Inoue on that card as well, and then you have Quadras versus Estrada for the WBC title eliminator. So that was definitely a damn stacked card at that time, and this was a pretty good Superfly card too. You had Dani Netes versus Juan Carlos Reveco, who's a veteran, and you had Brian Valaria fight for his fifth title against the I think the Armenian guy. I think he was Armenian. I have to check back and see. I forgot the guy's name. And then you have Quadras fighting McWilliams Arroyo, which Arroyo wasn't supposed to win that fight. Tough competitor, but he did pull off the upset against Quadras, so he'd definitely be in line to get a title shot against the winner of the rematch between Rungvisai versus Estrada, which is which is in the works right now for the fall. So anyhow, looking at these numbers, I know I've seen a couple video responses on this. I know particularly Fanan. Shout out to Fanan International Boxing Channel. If you guys don't know who Fanan is, please go check it out. Definitely a good channel. He's got good insights. He did say that this was considered a flop. Well, from the norm, it is not great numbers, averaging less than a million views for a fight, or for a fight card, I should say. It is, from one perspective, that is the norm. That is considered a flop in one way. However, from an overall scope, from a financial scope, I don't think it's a flop, and let me explain why. I think these are very good numbers, considering the fact that the total fight card purse, I believe, and I could be mistaken, I think the total fight card purse was under $500,000 for all the purses. Now, if you take that to account, that the fight purses for the card was less than 500 grand, and then you have the production costs, I have to say that HBO actually were expecting to get at least over 500,000 views for this whole card combined, this whole card together. So I would have to say it's pretty successful, given the fact these are the super flyweights. They're not quite as what's the word I'm looking for? It's not quite a hyped division as compared to the heavyweights or the welterweights per se, but it's undoubtedly the best division in boxing right now because you have the best super flyweights fighting each other. Okay, this is something we don't really get to see in some cases with some of the weight classes. You know, I know the heavyweight division was at the time when Klitschko lost his belt to Tyson Fury. We were getting some fights. We're getting some good, top contenders fighting each other after that, but it just went into a state of obscurity after Tyson Fury's had his issues. And then guys are pulling out of fights due to contractual or managerial disputes or promotional disputes. But you get the gist of it. But the fact is, though, I think these are successful numbers given the fact that they didn't have to spend much from us for the production side of things. The costs weren't too high as far as the marketing, as far as the licensing fees is concerned, and the purses as well. Now, so that's what I wanted to say about that as far as whether this was considered a flop or not. I don't think it was a flop overall from a financial perspective. I think this is what HBO wanted. I think they wanted at least 500,000 views. And the tickets they sold, I think they had 8,000 there, and maybe some of those were comped, obviously. So I think they fairly did well at the gate, given the fact, again, they didn't really have to spend too much to get this card put together. Now, as far as Roman Gonzalez is concerned, he did have some things to say about that result between Estrada versus Rungvisai. And he is very, very, I hate to say it, I like Chocolatito, but he's very bitter about this. And it's not fair. It's not fair. He felt that Estrada got robbed from a decision. Now, looking at that fight again, I would have to give 5 rounds to Estrada, but I think he lost that fight because he gave away the middle round, to be honest with you. So it was too little too late. He rallied too late, and definitely a rematch needs to be warranted. I think it definitely needs a rematch, or we'll see it in the fall. That's what they're negotiating. HBO is negotiating with Tom Loeffler at this point. It's yet to be seen. But this is what Chocolatito had to say. He said here, quote, Estrada did a good job, and he won the fight. He and his entire team did a good job. I would like to face him again, and for me, sincerely, Estrada won the fight. That's all he had to say. And speaking of Chocolatito, he is rumored, if you give me a second, as I was saying, speaking of Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, the rumor mill is that, I'm surprised this story passed me last week. The rumor mill is that he is going to be fighting for the vacant WBO Super Flyweight title, which was recently held by Naoya Inoue, who has been getting a lot of flack for jumping out of that division. You know, so rumor mill is that Chocolatito is is very interested in getting that title shot against Dana Netes, because Dana Netes has recently threw his name in a hat of going up to Superfly, and he wants to face Estrada. And well, he did say Estrada. He wanted to face Gonzalez, and he wants to face Rungvisai. So Chocolatito responded to, pretty much wants that fight. But here's the thing about it. It is a very interesting fight between two guys, between Netes and Gonzalez, who have been long reigning champions in their divisions. I would have to say this, though. I have to be consistent. I'm not in favor of guys getting title shots coming off losses, particularly back-to-back losses like Kovalev did with Andre Ward and now Gonzalez with Rungvisai. I would say that Rungvisai Chocolatito, I really think that he needs a soft touch-up before he fights Netes for the title, because that's a dangerous fight for him to get into, to be honest with you, especially coming off 2 heartbreaking losses against Rungvisai, who's obviously a devastating fighter himself. So yeah, I think that's my take on it. Actually, I'm gonna have to do another video on that and break it down from a stylistic standpoint and see how this match will fare up. But anyhow, let me know what you guys thoughts about the viewership with the Estrada versus Rungvisai. Do you think it's a flop? Do you think it's success? And what do you think about Roman Gonzalez? Do you think he's bitter about the result because he still hasn't gone over his losses over Rungvisai? Or do you think he has a point? Do you think that Estrada did get robbed against Rungvisai, which I don't think he got robbed. I think he lost that fight, if you ask me. But anyways, let me know what your thoughts are, and please, as always, as I say, make it respectful. Another video is coming up. I'm out. Peace.